Hey there, people, and welcome back to the Boogie House Facebook channel. I'm your host, Tyler, otherwise known as T. Blake Brady. Thank you for stopping in yet again. I've got another video for you this week, and I've started to think a little bit differently about how I do these videos, and today's is going to be a little bit of self-help, which I love, kind of fused in with my writing process and my writing journey. So I'm going to talk about Burnout, my book Dirt Merchant, and kind of how to avoid the pitfalls that I've fallen into in the past. So I'm going to take you back a couple of years to 2017. I had just published my most recent novel, the third Rolson McCain novel, Dirt Merchant, and it was a beast. I mean, to say the least, it was a massive undertaking and a massive novel. The book is 600 pages long. It's double the size of any book I have published then or have published since. 180,000 words. I mean, this was like a Stephen King brick of a novel, okay? But all crime all the time. And so what I didn't think about when I was frantically trying to finish that book under deadline was what it would do to my psyche to just try to finish this book and put my own, like the old cliche, burn the candle at both ends is absolutely true with that book. And the reason for it was I had set a deadline for myself so that I could have my book release party at my local bookstore, Parnassus Books, coolest bookstore in Nashville. And I was editing the week before the release. I was up at 2:30 in the morning. I had planned to go home to Georgia. I was ordering copies in Georgia at a McDonald's because my parents' Wi-Fi was out. It was the very definition of just overworked. And I didn't see it at the time. And what publishing Dirt Merchant taught me was the value of pacing yourself, setting small, smart goals, and reaching those on the way to an accomplishment rather than just saying, I have this big goal that I want to accomplish, and let's see if I can do it. That used to be my approach to everything. It's the same reason I chose to run a marathon. In 2014, on New Year's Day, I said, I'm going to run a marathon this year. And I did. I ran one in April of 2014, but I destroyed my body in the process, and I was miserable afterwards. I had broken a bone in my foot, and I didn't run for 4 months after it was over. So it was like a Pyrrhic victory. Like I totally ran 26.2 miles. I ran most of it. But what I learned from these two situations is that burnout is real. And that if you don't pace yourself, and if you think, I have to do everything right now, then you're going to fail at some point or another. You might be successful for a bit, and you may achieve your goals. Like I ran a marathon. I published a 600-page novel. But as a result, I've had to take a multi-year break from Rolson McCain and kind of put my brain back together with that character. I still plan on publishing 6 Feet South this summer, this fall, but it'll have been 2.5 years since I published that book, since Dirt Merchant. And so now I'm kind of left wondering, like, could I have had this series complete if I had just paced myself? And I think the obvious answer is most definitely yes. And if you ever find yourself burned out with work or a project or just anything that you love, this video should be for you. Because I reach a point where I see, it's not like jealousy, but I see the things that other people do, and I say to myself that this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I need to do something. I need to publish more books. I need to run more races. And at the time, I was also publishing a podcast a week and writing and blogging and just doing everything that I could. And I was just burning myself out. And the reason wasn't because I was working too hard, although I definitely was during this stretch. But it was because I didn't set goals. I didn't have an idea of where I wanted to be, and I wasn't measuring my success. And I think that is the difference between burnout and brilliance. Is if you want to burn out, just throw yourself at the wall every day. I'm really good at that. But if you want to be brilliant, then you have to set goals, manage those goals, review those goals, and check yourself against against those goals to see how far you've gotten. What successes have you had? How far do you still need to go? What percentage are you to your goals? So how do I do that? You might be asking yourself. As a writer, especially if you're watching this video, you may say, how do I do this? And the key is you have to set these incremental goals, you have to set medium range goals, and you have to set long-term goals. And it sounds overwhelming. It really, truly does. But it only takes a few minutes of your time to complete the first step. And I think I'm going to limit the video so it's not too terribly long. I'm going to talk about that first step in sort of planning out your goals in your life. This doesn't need to be an overwhelming task. If it is overwhelming, if it sounds overwhelming, it probably is. But here's how to do it. So if you have something that you really want, the first thing you need to do is brainstorm it. Every year, first of all, I write down all of the successes that I've had the previous year. It's something that I learned from reading Chris Hardwick's book, The Nerdist Way. There's a whole lot of baggage with that, but the truth is that book really helped me figure out how to accomplish things. Number one, you find out what it is you want to do, and two, you focus on doing it as hard as you can and do it every day. And I did that. And so at the end of the year, I write down my successes for the year, the things that I've done, because it's easy to think, well, I'm not where I want to be, so I haven't accomplished anything, which is not true. It's not true that if you don't have all the success in the world and you're not literally Stephen King, that you're a failure. As a matter of fact, you're probably doing some amazing things. You're just not letting yourself celebrate them. So celebrate those successes. Last day of the year, write down what you have done. And on the first day of the year, or roundabout there, write down the things that you want to do. I'm going to get specific here. So take out a pad and pen, write it down, or just read the description at the bottom and you will see what to do. So literally what I do is these are the elements that I write down. I write at the top of a piece of paper, I write lifetime, I write 5 years, I write 1 year, I write 3 months, and I write 1 month. Okay? Those 5 time periods. And I take 10 to 15 minutes, however long it takes is fine. And I start with the furthest goal. My lifetime. What are the things that I want out of my life? I'll share some of those in the video description. But that's not something I can tell you. What matters to you is not what matters to me. And I write down 7 or 8 major goals. These are things that I want to accomplish in my life. I'll share a few. I want to see 6 out of the 7 continents in my lifetime. Okay, that's a very concrete goal. I want to see my son married. I want to see him go off to college. Okay, that's a very specific goal. I would like to have a book be a bestseller at some point. That one is cagey. It's specific, but it's not up to me, right? And then once I've brainstormed all of those goals, lifetime goals, I start to break down each of the goals that lead up to that. How do I reach those things? If I want to be a best-selling author, what should be my 5-year goal? What is the thing that in 5 years I need to have accomplished? What is the thing in a year or 3 months even? What am I doing in 3 months to accomplish my goal? And so once you start to see those goals in front of you, you have a ton of clarity about what it is you need to focus your time and attention on. What is the highest leverage, most sustainable and closest thing that you can accomplish to get you down the road? And so it gives me an intense amount of creativity, but here's the caveat. And I'm going to leave you with this. This video is already 10 minutes long. The thing I want to leave you with, and I'll probably do another video about this very topic, is I'm great at writing lists. I love writing a list. I will write lists all day long. If I have something rattling around my brain, I will write it down. But what I don't do very well is follow up. And that's where I think a lot of people fall down, is that they have this goal and then they write it down and then they work a little bit at it and then it kind of gets like misty in their brain or foggy. And so you keep working and you become unsure of what your actual goals are. And so that's why it's important for you to review those goals. I set a monthly calendar reminder to review my goals. And I keep a spreadsheet of what my goals are. And I write down, what steps have I accomplished? What is my next step? What is the next thing I need to do? And then I try, if that's too hard, I break that down into another step. And so that is the way that I have worked on avoiding burnout, is to write down my goals, but then remind myself to check them. It's not that I want to avoid my goals, but I'm a creative, and so I love to get things onto paper. And once it's on paper, it's like done, which is not true. Okay? Once it's on paper, that's when you start to review it. That's when you need to say, hey, look at me. This is something that needs to be figured out. And so that's what I want to tell you to do now. Comment below in this video with a goal that you feel comfortable sharing. What's something that you really want to accomplish? Because the first step is writing it down. The second step is writing how you're going to get there. And the third step is reviewing those small steps and how you're going to plan this out. So I'm going to leave you here because this is a super long video. These should only be like 5 minutes long. But if you made it this far, thank you. And I hope that this has helped with burnout and the creative process, because it's really helped me to talk about it and it's clarified some things for me. And I think I'm going to do another video about this with the follow-up steps of how to reach those goals without feeling overwhelmed. So thank you for watching. Again, if you like this, subscribe to the channel. If you see this on YouTube, give it a thumbs up on Facebook. Share it with your friends. Comment with one goal that you want to accomplish. Otherwise, thank you for watching. I am Tyler. Thank you for visiting the channel, and I hope to see you on the internet. Bye.